Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Isaac Lawrence, and you're here at another episode of the Fight Fan Culture Podcast. This is actually episode number 5, and I'm here with the team, with some of my guys. I got HAYK, I got Adam, I got Brian. Yo, what's going on, HAYK? You started off, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Just hanging in there, working these events like every weekend. So we staying busy out there. We out there with the boys every weekend doing our thing. You know how it is.
That's what's up, man. What about you, Brian? What's going on with you?
Oh man, I had a long night last night. Me, everybody out here, and I'm just tired. But I woke up early this morning. I'm ready to go.
Yo, real quick, shout out to Brian. There's a lot of time. This is actually your first time on the pod. You're always doing the pod with us because you're the man behind the camera. So, let's give a little round of applause to Brian finally getting on the pod. There we go. There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And last but not least, we got Adam, ARABY, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing today, brother?
Great, man. Great as always. Like I said, we were all down at FightersRep 22 yesterday. So a little bit tired, but hey, still feeling great.
Yo, speaking of FightersRep, Adam, man, I know you've been rocking with this promotion for a long time. Just give me your overall thoughts on the card and just how everything went. I wasn't there, but I was watching it live from where I was at. Give me a little taste of what it felt like to be there.
Banger, man. Banger of a card, man. Obviously within the amateur worlds, you're going to see certain mismatches and, it's tough to get the perfect card. But this one, cream of the crop. Like, I got to give my flowers to Hung Vo, the matchmaker out of Hardworks Fitness. That was such a good card. No fight was like uneven. Every decision could have gone either way. And like the finishes were just brutal, man, with just some incredible title fights. Like it was just honestly like one of my more favorite like fighters rep cards in more recent memory. All bias admitted, like genuinely really, really great card from top to bottom. Like even our closer was a great fight. Tariq Wright and Ramsey Glover, like two big, like athletic dudes who just like threw down at a crazy pace. Like it was an incredible card.
Yeah, man, that's great to hear. I know, Brian, I know you, HAYK, you guys were there. Brian, was there a specific fight that you kind of were just surprised or you were just really hyped to watch?
Oh man, there was a few fights, but I'll give you my best two that I thought were my favorite ones. Lathan versus Ludwig. Milshan Lathan with the knee to finish him off, the right straight, and then the knee finish him off. That was a masterclass, and I really like his style, and I was looking forward to that fight, and he did not disappoint. And when he said "Don't blink," he really meant that. So that was a pretty special one. And then obviously David Death Dealer and Ralph Sanchez. That was another good one. Featherweight title, his first defense, and it was action packed. I thought that was fireworks from beginning to end. So yeah, those are my main two favorite ones that I was looking out for, that I was excited to see, and I thought they really, delivered.
Oh, man. Sorry, man. I was getting a text from Michael over here while we were on the pod. Actually, Mr. Michael at MLH Media is supposed to be here, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. But to your point, Brian, from my vantage point, looking at the fights, man, I was really excited for that Lathan Ludwig fight as well. And man, Lathan Milshan is undefeated 8-0, and a lot of people don't know his background, but he was a college football player. That athleticism, that just quick twitch, man, you can see that. And of course, when it comes to the Death Dealer, like, he's just a fan favorite. But HAYK, man, what about you? Obviously, you were there, you were ringside. What were some fights that really caught your eye?
Bro, I gotta give it up to my boy Hamza. Dude, that guy is so technical. Everything, it's like by the book technique. Just he has the best technique I've ever seen of anybody in the game. He's 5 steps ahead of his opponent. He plans out every single move he does. It's meticulous, and he just tears you apart. It's a work of art, honestly. Watching that guy fight, and I think he's gonna be pro really soon. And dude, there's no stopping the guy. It was really like a world-class performance by that guy. And I got to give it up to his opponent for coming out from Vegas, taking the fight on short notice. Nobody wants to fight these guys, and for him to come out from Vegas, long drive, and take the fight, it was a big thing. So I give it up to those boys from Vegas for doing that.
Yeah, shout out to his opponent for sure. And yeah, I mean, Adam, you were there. He announced that was his last amateur fight, kickboxing fight. Hamza wants to go pro, man. What do you see? Do you think he's ready? What do you think?
Easily, man. Easily. That kid is so polished. And I think the real thing, and I kept saying to HAYK, man, you can't teach speed. You can't. Like, that kid is genetically gifted in just how explosive he is and how fast he is. You watch his hands, he hits with power and speed, man. Like, he'll catch these guys with these left hooks or these right hooks, man, that are just like absolute missiles coming at them. So I think he very easily, and I'm very, very excited to see him take that next step in his career.
Yeah, 100%. And what I was really not surprised, what I was really looking for from this fight from Trad was to see an evolution in his fighting style. And the thing that he impressed me with was his patience, where the last fight, it looked like he almost had his opponent out, and he kind of gassed out trying to chase the finish. And this one, there was multiple times where it looked like he can definitely get the finish, but he was patient, he was calm, cool, collected, definitely tried to stay sharp. And yeah, it was just a matter of time, and he ended up getting his opponent out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going back to Brian. Brian, I know you're kind of new to FightersRep. You've only been to a couple shows. So as somebody who just started kind of going to these shows, how do you feel about kickboxing, and what do you think the potential can be for these striking shows?
Oh man, I love the sport of kickboxing and what FightersRep is doing for them. I mean, since this is something that, this is like more of a new world for me to really experience this. I got to experience, WCK, Muay Thai, and a couple other promotions, but I would say that kickboxing is huge. I'm a big fan of Muay Thai more than kickboxing though, because I love to see the elbows and knees. This is it's like a tease almost to watch this, because I'm like, elbow, I'm clinch, knee. But I really enjoy it because I mean, as far as how everything's put together, like the matches are made, it's always exciting, the way it's been set up. But kickboxing in general, I feel like is a growing thing. You know what I mean? Still, even at this point, boxing boxing and MMA will always take the cake right now as far as popularity goes. But there's definitely room for growth for kickboxing and Muay Thai, and I feel like they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger with these promotions. And this is something that's fairly new in the past 5 years. Give it another 5-10 years, we could see how this grows, potentially at a national level.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think just for me as an MMA fan, love MMA, boxing as well. I grew up watching boxing. When I started watching kickboxing and obviously Muay Thai, it was just another appreciation just for the art. So yeah, I love to see these fights, these young kids just really just striking, and it's amazing. So moving on, I want to talk to you guys about maybe what was your fight of the night. Actually, before we get there, we got to talk about the main event, man.
Mm-hmm.
So the main event was obviously Jason the Gator Granado, who is a Fight Fan Culture alum at this point. We've had him on the pod. We've done a fighter profile with him. He fought a late replacement in Perkins. I'm not exactly, Adam, what's his first name again?
Grant Perkins, coming out of Paradox Fight Club / Syndicate.
Yeah.
Those Vegas boys.
An amazing team out over there in Las Vegas. So I'm going to hand this off to Adam. Adam, what were you thinking once you heard that Jason had a late replacement, 10-day notice. What did you think of the opponent? What were you expecting? And yeah, give me some of your thoughts on that.
Big adjustment in terms of who he was preparing for. You're preparing for an orthodox, kind of heavy puncher, heavy boxer in Sergio the Cuban Missile Crisis Rodriguez. And then you have to switch to a guy who's like almost 6 foot, southpaw, and fights with a little bit more of that kind of, like I said, that paradox, kind of like framey Muay Thai long kick style. So it was definitely an adjustment. And as well, actually, this was up a weight class versus the original one too. So Jason didn't have to cut as much. So I thought that would make it really interesting, and it was, man. Like it was a great fight. Don't get me wrong, Jason did what he does. But I do gotta say, man, like, you know, it does make me wonder a little bit in terms of like Jason's progression, because we've seen his style develop and him really refine his style. You know, what I would love to see is getting to see Jason use all his tools. You know, a little bit more of those body shots, a little bit more of those flashy kicks, a little bit more of those low hands. But, you know, the unfortunate part, like I said, we get to see like his full arsenal because we get to go and see him train. But, you know, every fighter, when they get in the ring, you only get to see a small percentage of what they're truly capable of. But, you know, it's a classic Gator performance in where he was able to land a lot of the power shots with the right hand. But by the same token, so impressed by the durability of Grant Perkins. Oh my God, that guy has got a chin and a half on him. There's a few of those shots where I was just shocked that he wouldn't go down. You know, there was a moment in the fight actually where his mouthpiece came out. Jason tagged him dead on with the right hand, and homie just is looking at him, bare teeth, smiling and walking forward. So this was actually, in my opinion, a really great fight, a really great test for Jason, especially for his cardio, because it was not an easy pace to fight at. And you know, I'm shocked like it went as many rounds as it did. Like Jason almost got Grant out of there multiple times, but he was able to survive and stay in the fight enough to be able to make it. I believe it was like the first minute into the first round, or fourth round. I mean, not first round. Like a first few seconds, they had to call the doctors over. But like I said,
I don't think they even started the round. I don't think they even started the round. It was right
the
before
round started, and then they just called it like 2 seconds into round 3 or whatever, or 4.
Yeah, that was wild. HAYK, obviously you've been watching Jason over the past couple years, and his last performance against Isaac De La Paz, who's no slouch, he was on the card, had a great performance himself. He looked invincible almost. He looked so sharp. That was probably the best performance I've seen him to date. When you saw him yesterday, what did you think of his performance, HAYK?
Isaac De La Paz?
No, I'm talking about Jason.
Jason, bro. Jason always puts on a good performance. I got to give it up to his opponent. He was like a rock. And at the end of the fight, I heard Jason talking, and he said he really fucked with me when he came at me with no mouthpiece, and he was just a big smile on his face, just taking every punch. Mm-hmm. So he played that mind game with Jason too. It's just he didn't have enough defense to withstand the onslaught from Jason. Jason picked his shots most of the round. I know most of the fight. I know he wanted to win this fight with a body shot. He wasn't able to do that. I think if it was a pro fight, we might have had another round. But it being an amateur, I think it was a good call by the doctors to stop it.
And Brian,
no need for any more collateral damage. I think by points, Jason was going to win. So I think it was a good stoppage.
Definitely. I mean, he was in my unofficial scorecard. He was up 3-0. So
easily.
I hear that for sure. Brian, I mean, you've gotten to meet Jason in person. You've got to see him train. You've trained with him. I know you haven't seen all his fights, but you've definitely got to know his skill set. What was your perspective being a new fan to the kickboxing?
Oh, two things: speed, accuracy. What stood out to me about Jason Granado, those just straight punches that he was throwing, how they would just land super flush, right on the money. Like, it just shows you how much time he spends in the gym, technical, and I saw it too, like how hard he works. So, you know, um, I just, what stood out to me is he is super technical, and I think he's ready for the next level. So whenever he decides to make that leap, whenever him and his coach decide that he's ready, I think he's ready for that too. And also, I'd love to see him fight Muay Thai too, see what he can do with the elbows and knees and everything. And because he's the head Muay Thai coach over there at 10th Planet, so seeing him training and what he displayed, it's not a surprise. But definitely, what stood out after knowing him, getting to know his style and his training and everything is, yeah, man, he has good accuracy and speed, and he's very technical, and I think that it just goes to show you that it's all in the fundamentals, and him being a teacher and everything, that also just shows that he's really dedicated to it, and yeah, no, he deserves all the credit.
Yeah, no, he did a great job overall. Like you said, classic Jason performance. I think it could have been definitely the opponent change. Like to Adam's point, he was preparing for a shorter, stockier, power puncher, and what he got was a tall, rangy guy who was applying a lot of pressure, but yet still staying on the outside, using a lot of teeps, things like that. So I saw Jason at points kind of revert back to Old Faithful, the right hand, and I think moving forward, he's gonna look at this fight and say, okay, I did a lot of things good, but I definitely have still a lot to improve on. And we gotta remember, the guy's only 21 years old, man. So the fact that he's undefeated, 8-0, had his second title defense successfully for Fighters Rep. Man, the sky's the limit for this guy. And last thing for me for Fighters Rep, and then we're gonna move on, is I just want to shout out as somebody who was watching the live stream from my couch, basically. The women's title fight wasn't the most technical, but it was fun to see two women just freaking soccer bopping each other the whole time. So I wasn't in the building. You three men were. I'm gonna start with you, HAYK. What were the vibes like? What was the energy like being in the arena with these two women just going at it?
It was a slugfest, bro. It was a slugfest. Both corners were going crazy, and it felt like at any time any one of those girls could go down. They were just no defense, just wailing away on each other. It was very entertaining, an awesome fight. Those girls have heart, and they laid it all out on the line. So I give them props, man. They could fight with any of those boys out there. Even they were out there really slugging it. Yeah, it was just a all around good fight. Honestly, those girls put on a show for us. It was a real treat to see them.
For sure, man. What about you, Brian? What was your perspective?
Oh man, I'm pretty fairly close with Hung, because I've worked at Hardworks a lot with a lot of the fighters, and he was supporting Nancy, so I got to talk to her a little bit and see her fight. She's a freaking warrior. Connie is a warrior. When Connie was just going like 1-2, 1-2, just straight punches, that was like the crowd was going wild, honestly.
Even
Shout out to
Rampage
the
enjoyed
others
that
too.
fight. Rampage was over there with a big smile on his face, like, damn, this is a good fight.
Man. So I think they really had one of the best female fights that I've seen in a while, as far as just at the amateur level, for sure. And even the other fight too, Becky Montez and Precious McKinley, they were going hard. But these girls for the title, they knew they had something on the line, so they were like going like extra hard for sure.
And Adam, man, you're right there ringside. You're literally at a neutral corner, just absorbing all the energy, filming the whole fight. Like, what was your experience being damn near 5-10 feet away from these women?
Oh man, I get to tell everybody, man, I love my job. I get the best seat in the house. Like I'm better than VIP because I'm up on that ring, and I get to, like you said, I get to look around and see the whole crowd and everything going on. And man, both these women brought a crowd with them. You know, that was actually the fight. Like before, because occasionally I'll get a few people be like, "Hey, when's blah 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 up?" or "When's that?" And I'm always more than willing to give the information. I'm an employee of FightersRep, so therefore I'm gonna help the promotion, right, and help our paying fans. And Nancy had the most that I've seen people who like. I had a few different couples walk up, be like, "Hey, when's Nancy up? Hey, when's Nancy up?" And I'm like, seems like she brought the crowd. And when she came out, like even in her walkout, that whole place was going buck wild. And then the same thing, like the boys already said, once the punches started getting going, man, all technique was thrown out the window. Like both girls just said, let's leave our defense at the door. All right. We're just gonna swing and see who goes down first. Like every time Nancy was trying to like get a combo, get a technique going, Connie was just right in her face the whole time. And you just hear every time Connie would blitz, or you just see these wild kind of boxing exchanges, the whole crowd would go buck wild. You just hear ah. But personally, my favorite moment was actually just getting to hear Rampage root for Nancy, and as well just start coaching. That was my favorite moment, was just hearing like coach would be like, "Nancy, keep your hands up," like. Like just getting to hear Rampage just like corner coach throughout the night, like had me dying laughing. Like, and that like he had some of my favorite one-liners there. He's like, set up that 1-2, set up that 1-2. Come on, Nancy.
I think it was closer than it was. Was it unanimous, right? But
it was unanimous, but like I
I
remember
feel like it
us,
should have been
chilling
split.
back, like being like, I don't know, like I think it's pretty razor thin. Like
It was super thin, bro. Because like I feel like if she did win, she only won like 3 out of the 5, or whoever won. You know what I mean? Because you could give it either way. I definitely think Nancy fought super hard, even though Connie had a lot of had some good ring control. She landed good, clean shots. So
got the standing 8 in the first
could have went
round.
either way. Yeah, got the standing 8 the first round.
Definitely, if for anyone who wants to see just an entertaining slugfest, to use HAYK's words, definitely check out this fight. It was an amazing fight, and like I said, I wasn't in the building, but even me, I was getting hype on the couch, man. But moving on, why we're here, gentlemen, is because this Saturday there is going to be an amazing UFC card. A lot of people say that is actually better than UFC 300. Now, I might not go and say that, but it's definitely not a card you want to miss. We got the Sugar Show versus defending his bout versus an opponent who he technically has a loss to in Marlon Chito Vera. So before we start and break down the card, I just got to get predictions right out the gate. I'm going to start with Brian. I'm going to end off with you, Adam. So Brian, give me your prediction. Sugar Sean O'Malley or Chito Vera?
I'm gonna just go with I'm gonna go with the champ. I think Sugar Sean has a good skill set. I know Chito Vera beat him last time. I know he's very capable. But I'm gonna go with the champ. I think that he'll pull this one off.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We got one for Sugar Show right here with Brian. HAYK, what's your vote, bro?
My heart wants to go with Chito, so I'm gonna go with Chito. I don't know how it's gonna end up. Sugar Sean is a badass. It's gonna be an entertaining fight. I think if Chito takes it to him and finishes him off in the first 2 rounds, it's gonna be his fight. But if he doesn't in the later rounds, Sugar Sean is gonna take care of it. But I'm hoping for Chito Vera.
All right, we got your vote. We got Cheeto locked in, 1-1. Adam, all right, man, you're the tiebreaker here, and then I'm gonna cast my vote after. But as of right now, what's your vote?
I'm gonna still stick with my original prediction on our last podcast, where my heart right now, like I said, I agree with HAYK. Like, I'm a big Cheeto fan. I hope he wins. I would love to see Cheeto as the champ, but my heart's telling me it's Sean's gonna edge him out slightly on a unanimous decision. I don't see either guy getting finished. I think this is gonna be a 5-round war, but I think Sean's just gonna edge him out just slightly. But it's gonna be his toughest fight yet.
Okay, so we got 2 for Sean, and we got 1 for Cheeto. Like I said, I'm sticking with my prediction, which is basically what I said the last podcast. I'm leaning towards my man Marlon Cheeto Vera. So we got 2-2. So we might have to make a wager. Honestly, everyone is completely right. It's like the Sugar Show is on and going. And on paper, Sean O'Malley should definitely win. But for me, I think about it, the mentality of Cheeto, he already has a win over him, so he's gonna have that confidence going in. Plus, this dude's from Ecuador, bro. He comes from nothing. He has the immigrant mentality, and his whole life, he's just wanted to win the UFC belt because he knows this is gonna change his life. So the fact that he has a win over him, he has the immigrant mentality, I just feel like the stars are aligning for Cheeto to just take over, man. So I don't know if he's going to be a long reigning champion, depending on what Cheeto shows up. But for this particular fight, 299, I'm leaning towards Cheeto Vera. So, guys, we got 2-2. We might have to make a wager, man. Maybe, you know, if Sean O'Malley wins, me and HAYK, we gotta wear like rainbow color hair for a day. You know, if Cheeto Vera wins, you know, you guys might have to wear like some type of a bald cap for a day or something like that. I don't know. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh man, whatever you want. We'll figure out the details, but we'll put whatever on the line. I think I feel confident in my bet.
What about you,
like
Adam?
I said, brother, we don't mess with the hair over here, so I'm feeling pretty all right.
What do you think, HAYK? You think we might have to make some type of wager outside of the pod today?
Hey, bro, I think the loser gets 5 fan culture tattoos.
Oh my God! And just FFC.
Hey, no, I'm putting it down right now.
I'll get a small FFC. As you know, I got a lot of.
if we get 100,000 followers on YouTube, I'm getting a 5 fan culture tattoo.
Oh man, I'm about to clip this up because in 6 months to a year, this dude about to get some tattoos, bro.
Hey, I'll let the fans even pick where, just not anywhere on the face. Just let's go, man.
We doing
left nipple.
Trap
left
stamp.
nipple. Oh man.
Oh, trap stamp. That would be funny.
But yeah, guys. Okay, so we have 2-2. Let me pull up the card here. Let's break down this main event. I mean, this card is just massive, bro. We have so many fights on this card. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up right now. Here we go. We got Sugar Sean, obviously, versus Cheeto Vera. Right before we have a co-main event. Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Man, this is gonna be a banger of a fight. I'm gonna start off with Adam straight away, bro. Adam, you're the MMA nerd. You're the dude that out of all of us is just constantly watching film. What can you tell us about Benoit Saint Denis? For the people that don't know, they need to know. Go ahead and tell them.
Well, first off, I want to say why this fight is going to be a banger. which I didn't even realize this, but Benoit Saint Denis, his first fight in the UFC was that crazy, terrible late stoppage where they took the ref off the card and he was the one getting finished. And I think that was just like a big growing fight for him because he just realized, like, man, I need to get my defense up because I'm a dangerous guy, but like I can't be eating punches like this. And just since then, he's just, obviously 12th ranked now, taking on Dustin Poirier. Man, I would love to see the Diamond like throw down. I think this is going to be a fun fight because Benoit Saint Denis is not afraid to throw himself in the fire. But man, is he dangerous. And I don't know, that 35 plus curse has been looking a little bit truthful lately, guys. Like, yep, he's right on the cusp, 35. And Diamond has just been in so many wars, man. Like, I would love to see the Dustin of old, but like, this is going to be a war of attrition that I think I got to go with the younger man. I think the younger 28-year-old man is just going to have a little more miles on him to be able to get it done. But this is going to be a war.
I gotta agree, man. I gotta agree. This is gonna be one of those fights you do not want to miss. It's definitely worthy of a main event itself. So co-main, man, we're getting a treat here. HAYK, I know you're a big Dustin Poirier fan. You love stand-up. You love Muay Thai. That's what he loves to do. Give me your thoughts on this fight. What are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards Poirier, honestly, but this is a big fight for Poirier. If he loses this fight, he has a lot more to lose than he has to gain from this fight, I feel like, because he's proved himself, and him being third rank going against the 12th rank, he has a lot more to lose than to gain from this fight. So he really needs to show up, shut him down, and really solidify his place in and his rankings. So he needs to settle down and work his Muay Thai and not get into a slugfest. Keep his distance and just work him the whole fight. And I think he can come away with the victory. If not, if it goes to a slugfest, he's great at slugging it out, but you never know. He could catch one of those and it could be lights out.
Yeah, man. I mean, we talked about a slugfest earlier with the women fight at FightersRep, the women championship fight. I could definitely see something like that with these guys, a high-level version of that. Obviously, these men are just dynamic strikers, and they're warriors, man. They ain't trying to back up. They ain't trying to go down. Brian, what do you think about this fight? I know we're still learning a lot about these MMA fighters. You come from more of a boxing background, but from your perspective, what do you think about this fight?
I mean, I've seen some Dustin Poirier's fights, mainly since a little bit pre-McGregor, but like mainly post-McGregor. I think he's good. And as far as this fight goes, keep it short and sweet. I got Dustin Poirier winning. I think he's gonna either finish him in the first or second round, pretty easily for sure.
Okay, since we went ahead and took a vote and you already casted your vote, we'll go down the line. So we got Brian leaning towards Dustin. My vote, I'm gonna lean towards Saint Denis. Like to Adam's point, Dustin's already 35. We got the 35 plus curse. Basically, if you're 170 or lower, once you turn 35, like that's kind of the end of your prime. Saint Denis, I believe, is 27, 28, and he just looks like a rocket ship, man. So I'm leaning towards Saint Denis. Adam, what's your vote?
Like I said, I got to stick with Saint Denis. I mean, don't get me wrong, still a Diamond fan, but I'm also a realist. Got to go with Saint Denis.
HAYK, give me your pick, bro.
Going with the Diamond, bro. Going with Poirier. You know,
All right.
I like his hot sauce. It's really good on some ribs. So I'm going with him. And he's just a badass, bro. It's gonna be a good fight. So I'm going with him.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. We got 2-2. I like that. we're moving on to the next fight, which is going to be Kevin Holland versus MVP Michael Venom Page. Man, this is Michael Venom Page's debut fight at 36 years old to the UFC. Kevin Holland's been, just a guy who's been in the UFC for the past few years. Always a fun fight when Kevin Holland's there. I'm going to start off with you, HAYK. HAYK, man, what do you think about this fight, man?
Oh man, this is another absolute, like, this is for the fans, and another a fight for the fans. It's gonna be two technical guys going at it with each other. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Holland right now, but my decision could change. I think Holland's gonna take it. It might go the distance because both guys are just, they don't have any give in them. So I think it's going to go all the way. Decision, Holland's going to take it.
Okay, so we got HAYK going with Holland. Brian, what do you know about Kevin Holland and Michael Venom Page?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great matchup. Obviously, Michael Venom Page ran out of his contract with Bellator, so he signed to the UFC for the first time. And he's going up against Kevin Holland, who just lost to JDM in his last match. So he's looking to get back in the win column. They're both real good technical fighters, both really hungry. And I don't expect it to go the distance, but, I don't see, why it couldn't, because obviously they're really good, all of them. But I predict that as far as this match goes, I'll take Michael Venom Page. I think that he's ready. I think Kevin Holland is, a little past his prime, and he's ready to go. He's ready. He's, out the door already, and Michael Venom Page is coming up right now.
All right, man. So we got one for Holland, one for Page. Adam, who you got, brother?
Interesting take to say the 37-year-old's in his prime and the 31-year-old's out of his prime. Brian, I got to give it up for that one. Bold take, bold take. I'm going big mouth on this one, man. Like, that left hand, it seems like it's finally recovered. He did break it some years ago, but, like I said, with that same broken left hand, he did get a left hook knockout on Santiago Ponzinibbio. People seem to forget, about the knockout power that Kevin Holland has, man. Like, I'll never forget when he's in, like, I think he was like either in like half mount or something like that, but he was on the ground getting mounted by Jacare Souza and just punches upward and knocks him out cold, like at middleweight. And this is at welterweight against a 36-year-old Michael Venom Page who, has definitely not had the same strength of schedule, in my opinion. He's had some high-profile fights, so don't get me wrong. He's faced some tough opponents, but not, I think, not the same strength of schedule as Kevin Holland, man. So I'm going to take the 31-year-old guy who I think is still in his prime and still has a lot more to give with some great knockout power. So I'm going to call Big Mouth on this one.
So we got two for Holland, one for Page. I'm gonna have to agree with pretty much everything you said, Adam. I think his strength of schedule is definitely something that gets slept on. And I'm leaning towards Holland as well. Obviously, he's coming off of a loss to, man, he's coming off a loss to JDM, which if you lose to JDM, like, that's not something to be mad about. Like, JDM is really that guy. We're gonna talk about him next. But yeah, Kevin Holland, man. Michael Venom Page, 36. I don't think he's gonna. I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I think it's gonna be an entertaining fight. It's gonna be a fight for the fans. But I got Kevin Holland. Moving on, we got Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Magdalena, JDM, Gilbert Burns, HAYK. Who do you got?
I don't know much about Magdala, but I'm going with Burns on this one. You never fuck with a guy with ears like that. That's my motto in life. Anybody with ears like that, you don't fuck with them. Just stay away. You don't even fight him. You don't even sign up for the fight on this one, bro. Just call it a day. Don't fuck with him. So yeah, I'm going with Burns. But that's my hot take on this one.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. when I see when I'm out and about and I see anybody who has any type of cauliflower ear, you know, I kind of like bow my head to them, show them some respect, because you don't just get that by accident. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For sure. Unless you're
But
Steve-O and you put your ear in a vice or some shit. I don't know.
and even then, that wasn't by accident. Technically, homie was
Yeah.
really trying to get it. But Adam, what's your take, man? So we got one for Burns. How about you?
Again, man, I love Gilbert Burns, man. It's hard not to enjoy him, but 37, been in some wars, has had, from the Hamzat, like, if you look at that as injury list, man, like, that's not easy to come back from. When the neck starts to go and you start suffering from certain spinal issues, but like we said, also by the same token, all those injuries happened in the first round, and they had a crazy ass war, man. They had a crazy, crazy fight. So I think it'll be exciting. I think like definitely that experience will show. But I gotta go with JDM on this one, man. He's been on fire. He has some of the better boxing in the UFC right now. Gilbert, also very clean boxer, very good kickboxer. But when you face a good power puncher like JDM in that may play against your favor. If he gets him to the ground, could be a different story, but I'm gonna go with the guy who's 10 years younger in JDM.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's definitely a age difference, right? You got 10 years age difference, 27, 37. Brian, you just talked about JDM beating Kevin Holland. What's your take? Who you leaning towards?
That was a decision that I thought he won fair and square. But as far as his skill set, I see JDM winning second round or first round submission, and he's really strong. I don't know too much about Gilbert Burns, but definitely I seen how strong and how skillful JDM was in his last fight, and I definitely think that he could probably pull off a submission first or second round.
All right, man. So we got 2 for JDM, 1 for Burns. For me, Adam, I'm kind of in this position similar to how you are with the Sugar Sean, where your heart is going for one fighter, but you also want the other fighter. So my heart is going for Burns. My brain is going for is telling me JDM. But I'm going with my heart, man. I'm going Gilbert Burns, 37. I just think when it comes to strength of schedule, like Gilbert Burns only loses to the top of the top fighters. Obviously, Hamzat. Obviously, when he fought for the bout against Kamaru Usman, which at the time he was in his prime, and all of his fights are competitive. His last fight against Muhammad was unfortunate because he sustained an injury, a shoulder injury. However, I've been watching some interviews with him. He's been off for quite a long time to recover. He's done stem cells. He's done a lot. So sounds like his body's in tip-top shape. He's ready to go. And
did you say stem cell?
He did stem cells on
Who
his
did?
Gilbert Burns.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so man, sounds like he's in tip-top shape. He's ready to go, and healthy, hungry Gilbert Burns, man, he can beat anybody any day. So I'm leaning towards Gilbert Burns. So we got 2 and 2. Next fight, Peter Yan, Song Yadong. I'm gonna start it off with Adam. Adam, break this fight down.
Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a real fun one. 2 guys who are in the title hunt could easily get to the top of the division. We've seen Peter Yan, former champion, man, have really competitive fights with pretty much every former or current title contender or person who's held the title. Up until like that illegal knee, he was dominating Aljo. Dominating. As well, it was able to go back and forth with a very, very game Jose Aldo in a super exciting fight. Man, there's not much more you can say about Peter Yan. I mean, the guy literally, when he was like younger, decided to be like throw his wife out there to be able to box every man in his city. Like, in whatever Russian town he comes from. Like, this guy's a gangster through and through. But Song Yadong, incredible athlete, super strong, young up and comer. But I think that inexperience is actually going to play against him. You know, he's a great fighter, but we've seen him struggle against some of the more top competition of the division. He had some strong moments in the Corey Sandhagen fight, but you know, you could see him just get a little bit outclassed by certain guys. And even in that controversial win against Cheeto, like, there's a reason it was controversial, because that fight was close. He could have very easily lost that, depending on who the judge was.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the guy who's a little more experienced. Peter Yan, only 31. I think he's kind of reaching that kind of perfect apex in terms of experience and still in his physical prime. So I think he's got at least a few couple good years left in him. So I'm gonna go with the guy who's been in those high pressure fights.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Definitely. I mean, you broke that fight down perfectly. We got a young up and comer in Song Yadong, and we got a vet who's still young in his prime, Peter Yan. So, Brian, I'm gonna hand it over to you. I know you're still new to the sport. You're still getting to know these guys, but based off of Adam's breakdown, who you leaning towards?
Oh man, no mercy, Peter Yan. I like what he's done before. In his like he said, I mean, I feel like, you know, ever since the Aljamain Sterling fight that he lost, like, there's just been hard for him to bounce back, to get into title contention. I think that he'll be able to pull this off and to get back in, you know, talks of fighting for the strap again. So I got Peter Yan handling Song Yadong.
So we got 2 for Peter Yan. HAYK, are you going to be the first to go Song Yadong, or are we doing Peter Yan?
There I am. I'm going with the young guy. It's they're both good strikers. I think Song is better on the ground. He has 3 submission finishes. I think if it goes to the ground, Song's going to take it. Overall, I think Song's going to take it, even with the striking, but it's going to be a close one. I see this one going the full 3 rounds. So it's going to be a really, really interesting fight to see, honestly. They're both in their prime, I feel like. Song's 26 years old. Peter Yan, 31? So they're both in their prime, I feel like, and it could go either way, but I'm leaning more toward Song.
So we got 1 for Song, 2 for Yan. Man, Adam broke this down perfectly. Like, both of these guys are just very, very skilled fighters. Song Yadong at 26 years old, I feel he just needs a couple more years fighting the top 10, you know, top echelon bantamweight fighters for him to just go over the edge. I think he's just not there yet. Peter Yan, I think he's that guy. You know, obviously his last few fights, his skid hasn't shown that per se, but we also got to look at who he's losing to. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's losing to Merab. He's losing to Aljo. Like, these guys are either ex-champions or they're fighting for championships in the near future. So he's not losing to these slouches. So I don't see Peter Yan losing to anybody outside of the top 5. And Song Yadong, he's just, in my opinion, not there yet. Still a little raw. So in maybe a year or 2, I think Song Yadong can definitely be a killer and a staple in the bantamweight division. But my vote is Peter Yan, man. So
it's fun to say Song Yadong, bro. That's just a fun ass name, Song Yadong. Just a fun name. I want to hear that more in the UFC. Song Yadong.
Definitely, you'll hear that a lot more in the coming years, man. So 299, guys. We broke down the main event. We had our votes. But these prelim fights, and we're not going to go through them all, but look at these fights, man. Curtis Vase, Gelton Almeida, Caitlin, Macy Barber, Gamrot, Dos Anjos. Like, If you are not doing anything Saturday,
Did Kaylin Chukagian get married?
yeah, she did. She did.
Oh,
That's
okay,
why
okay. That's a fun
I don't
fight.
know.
That one's
I
good.
don't know. I don't know how to say her last name, or else I would. Sir Manara, I think is how you say it.
Oh.
But yeah, man, like look at all these fights. And we have look at the early prelims, bro. We got like Michael Pereira in the early prelims. That's how stacked this card is, bro. Like Joanne Wood, she's the first fight of the night. Like in the early prelims, like come on, bro. This card is just stacked. So I can see why a lot of people say that this card is better than UFC 299. That is not my take, but I can see why there's a lot of people saying that. But moving on, guys, we're gonna wrap up the pod soon. One thing that I wanted to show you guys first, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this past UFC, there was some amazing fights. And I wanted to, did you guys see Oliveira versus, I think it's Sopai? This was a bantamweight bout. So for those of you that didn't see this fight, Sopai, 23 years old, was just doing an amazing job the first round. Almost had Oliveira out. Second round was very competitive. This is round 3. Less than 30 seconds left of the fight. Oliveira just takes over. And I'm going to show you guys what happens next. Tell me if it's lagging.
Oh, there it goes. Just get down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
Every
Oh!
time, dude, man.
Always stay ready, man. Stay ready. He
So-
dropped his hands. He
So-
wasn't expecting it.
One of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is, number one, the reason why I love MMA and fighting in general is like you just never know, right? Like I said, go back and watch this fight if you guys can. Oliveira was losing, bro. Like it looked like he was about to get finished. Sopai was on top, ground and pounding him the whole last minute of the first round, and it was very, very clear that Sopai had an advantage on the ground. But by the second round, Oliveira turned it around, and then third round, Sopai just gassed out, and he gets finished with 20 seconds left on the clock. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, not just to show the fact that this sport is crazy, but I wanted to bring up this point. Oliveira is 28 years old, right? He's definitely coming into his prime. Obviously, with that performance, I'm sure that he's going to get a lot of hype. But Sopai, 23 years old, dog. 23 years old. So the reason why I brought it up is something like that, a knockout like that, at 23 years old, to me, potentially could be a career-changing knockout, man. And it's so sad to see a kid at 23 years old get put out like that. And I'm not gonna lie, there was moments in the fight, in that third round, in the beginning of that third round, I was like, yo, if I'm the corner, I might be throwing in the towel, bro, because bro was getting pieced up all third round. And as a coach, you have to look out for your fighter, man. I know there's money involved, but bro, like his career could definitely be shortened just because of that flying knee knockout. So I'm gonna start with you, Adam. Like, what is your take on just that sequence and potentially the repercussions of that for the fighter, for Sopai?
Well, you said it right there, man. Like, this is why I love the sport. This is the absolute truth of why I love the sport, man. Like, and why MMA has ruined me as a fan of other sports, and why I just get bored. Like when I have to watch like any other sports, like a 3-hour game, it's like, okay, cool, like that was sick. You scored a goal. Only in fighting, where like you said, you'll see a guy where he will lose every single round in a fight, and then whatever it could be, the coach could say the right thing on the corner. He could, start thinking of his rent or how his baby mama's going to start yelling at him if you don't get that child support in. And you just got to turn that other gear and go, man. And that was exactly what Oliveira did. He saw the opening, he saw that strength of schedule, heard that bell go, and then decided to just get that perfect shot in, man. So very, very impressive performance, man. Really great to capitalize it, show a lot of heart and toughness. Definitely, will be back and have some great matchups. But by the same token, man, that's one of those brutal knockouts where hopefully Sopai has a really good team around him and he does take time to recover, because when you do see your fighter take damage like that, that is the type of knockout that takes years off your life. People have different opinions on brain damage, CTE, but like when you get knocked out like that, there is definite consequences for you down the line, man. Because although I didn't get to watch the fight live, you can see in the clip he doesn't get up for at least got to be like 15 to 30 seconds. And it's a bad knockout when you see guys like start to twitch a little bit, because their body and their nervous system's coming back too. So, when it is in the UFC and professional, I got to say, you got to let guys go out on their shield because of how much is on the line and the stakes are there. But by the same token, I got to agree, man, that's a knockout that potentially how you come back from that could make or break your career and your just overall livelihood and health.
Yeah, Brian, you as a fight fan, what is your take on seeing somebody get knocked out like that, and what is your take as far as them coming back and recovering?
Yeah, I think it's all on his team. I think regardless of his age, even though he's young right now, I mean, he's made it to the UFC. He's put himself in a position. He's still a grown man, grown adult at the end of the day. He chooses to get into the cage, and he chooses this for a living, knowing that there are these repercussions for this choice of work. So, I mean, obviously he could be more selective, be smarter. His team could pick his fights better, but as a true warrior, true champion, and the spirit of the game of fighting in general, I think it's just a part of the game. It's going to be certain times where you could look back as like, wow, this guy, could have this or that, but that's just life. There's always going to be if or what if, but we should always do the best to protect our fighters. But at the end of the day, when they're grown, it's on their decision to get in that ring. I'm sure he loves what he does, so I can't say that, but it's more on his team, to protect him, because the fighter's going to always want to fight. The fighter's going to want to fight to the death, but how they go about it, it being the fight game, the fight business, he has to be more selective, because that was brutal. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's going to be a while before he has to recoup and then pick his battles wisely, so that way he can build himself back up and put himself in a position where he could win.
And HAYK, what about you, man? I mean, you saw the last pay-per-view, 298. You saw that Ilia Topuria knocked out Volkanovski. Volkanovski had just got off of a brutal KO just a few months before. So you see a young guy like this at 23 get knocked out in this way. And to Adam's point, I watched this fight live, and homie didn't even stay to get for Oliveira to get his hand raised. He had to be helped out of the cage, was just completely out of it. What's your take on this, man?
Bro, being somebody that has taken beatings since they were little kids, I've been boxing since I was a little kid, so CT is fucking real. It's gonna take a toll on him. It's gonna add up. A shot like that can take a few years off of your life. All of a sudden, when you're 35, 40 years old, shit starts to hurt. You wonder why. You constantly have headaches, and that shit is real. So you kind of have to, I get it, you're on a pro level, but you have to pick your battles better, protect yourselves at all time, and really try to avoid those huge, nasty shots, because those really take a toll on you, and it does take a few years off of your life. And recovering from something like that is hard. And some people never even do. It can fuck with you mentally. You might not even want to fight after that. So it's you just got to prepare yourself. And if your coaches see that you're going to be in that situation, I get it. They want to see you thug it out, fight it out, but they have to make that decision and stop that fight before something like serious happens. Because at the end of the day, it's a fight, it's a game, and it's for money, but you don't want to fucking die. You want to live to fight another day. So I
think the key thing is the stage of his career, because you guys remember the Chris Munoz fight? Chris Munoz, where his face was all messed up. Oh man, that was a beating. Like it was Sean O'Malley, right? Sean O'Malley versus Chris Munoz.
Yeah.
Chris Munoz took that
Coutinho.
fight on late notice. Yeah, and he ended up just like his face got like super battered. Just looked like a different person after.
Yeah, man. I think every single one of you guys has a great take. Hopefully, Sopai can just recover, take some months off. Definitely just don't come back anytime soon, man. Recover, get that health right, and I want to see him back in there. 23, he still has a lot of career left, so hopefully his team does the right thing and matches him up well for his next fight. But fellas, that's the end of the pod. One thing I want to say, all you fight fans, if you got this far, please comment down below, like, subscribe, all that stuff, man. We really appreciate everything that you guys do. We see the likes, we see the comments, Instagram, TikTok, everything. And we do this for you guys. We're a bunch of fight nerds trying to build a fight community. So speaking of fight community, we went to the UFC 298 fan experience, and it looks like your guys are going to UFC 300. So catch us there, April 13th, Las Vegas. Man, it's gonna be fun. Are you guys excited for that?
Oh yeah, always excited for Vegas.
Of course,
you know?
dude.
We're going to Vegas.
Yeah, man. So you catch us there. It's been real. Isaac Lawrence. We got Brian. We got HAYK. We got Adam. Any shout outs you want to do, Brian? I'll start with you.
Well, you already know. Check the description, Touchdown Films. That's my pages. You can go ahead and check me out on YouTube and check me out on Instagram at touchdown.films. And then on YouTube at Touchdown Films Official. If you like sports, you like combat sports, everything like that, definitely follow my page.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. He was the one that did the AJ McKee interview that is on our YouTube right now. Killed that. Good work, Brian. HAYK. Any shout outs?
Man, just shout out to all the fight fans out there. You know, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for coming back and watching our podcast. We do this for y'all. You know, we're just, like Isaac said, we're just a bunch of fight nerds and fight fans, and we're just doing this for y'all because we love it.
And of course, Adam, any shout outs?
As always, man, just shouting out the channel here and getting to work here. As well as the recent FightersRep event. Come check out the YouTube channel for all those fights to rewatch them on the FightersRep YouTube channel. As well as my own channel, the ARABY channel. I got my next episode of the Day in the Fight Life coming out soon. And then hopefully some other fun guests coming out, as well as come here, girl. Come here, honey. You know, shout out to my little dog right here, you know. Shout out to all the dogs, you know, and all the dog owners.
There you go, man. I wasn't sure who you were calling, if you were calling your girlfriend or something, but luckily, you know, it was your dog. So we don't want
man, we don't... the first girl, man, the girl that always takes priority. Yeah, honey, right here.
There you go. Shout out to Honey. It's been real, man. Isaac Lawrence. There's been another episode of Fight Fan Culture, and we out.